you've ever seen this symbol of two parallel up and down lines, all this means is absolute value. And what absolute value is just the positive of whatever in between those two lines. So the absolute value of -3 is simply +3. All you do is take the negative off of that. So it just wants the positive side of whatever between there. I mean, similarly, if you have a positive number in there, then it just is that number. So the absolute value of +3 is just 3. Now, if you have some arithmetic operations within those two lines, then you simply do the arithmetic and then take the positive of what your answer is. So if we have the absolute value of 1 minus 3, well, that's going to be the absolute value. 1 minus 3 is -2, so you simply do the arithmetic. So the absolute value of -2 is just 2. You just take the negative sign off. That's what the absolute value is. Similarly, if we do 7 times -8, take the absolute value of that. Again, just do the arithmetic between the two lines. So we have the absolute value of -56, which is just +56. So all you do is take the negative off, and that's what absolute value is. Your answer for an absolute value problem will always be a positive answer. That's the definition of it. One thing, however, is if they put the negative on the outside of the absolute value, then remember the absolute value of this is 2, whatever the positive is, but because the negative's on the outside of it, your answer will be negative. So this would be -2. Because if we just look at this piece, that's going to be a 2, but this negative, it's not inside the absolute value, it's outside of it. So similarly, if we have some sort of mathematical equation, or if we have something like 5 minus 9, so again, this we leave alone because it's not inside of this, so it's going to be negative absolute value. 5 minus 9 is -4. And so the absolute value of -4 is +4, right? So we're going to make this a +4, but we have to keep this here, this negative sign. So it would be -4. So the absolute value of this is still positive, that's still 4, but because there's a negative sign on the outside, we have to keep that negative sign there.